Alright, so I just nibbed off a few pieces of dirt that was in the paint job of the Camaro. Ended up painting the door and blended into the quarter, and turned out really nice. No more dents in it, no more scuffs ups. This is a pretty color. I think it is called Blew Me Away Blue, or Blew Me Away Metallic, something like that. But turned out real nice. Matched up really good, which I just blended it, so. But no more dents. Good shine. Turned out good. We'll go back to the owner now. All right, in the shop today, working on the Bronco that I told you that was coming in the shop. I didn't video when it first came in and what I was going to be doing to it, but it's getting painted all over. I'm about to pull the body off of the frame. I went ahead and got the top off. All the interior was pretty much pulled out except for the dash. I had to pull the dash all out, but the carpet, seats, and all that, it was already out. He had the tail lights, headlights, bumpers off. I took the doors off. Had Charlie, the glass guy, Action Auto Glass, come out, pull the glass out of everything except for the doors. I can do that. But I got everything all loose, and I'm about to pull the body off of the frame, so I figured that'd be a pretty neat thing to, I say neat, but something that I can video actually doing that you may want to see it coming off of the frame. But before I do that, I'll show you some panels that I'm going to have to weld in because of rust. Now the big spot of rust on this thing is here in the driver's floorboard. You can see it's a great big hole in it, but he's got this whole panel for me to weld in. I have noticed some rust back in this area that I'm probably gonna have to take care of. It's not too bad on that side, just probably clean it up real good and put some rust converter on it. On both sides of the inner fender wells, there's some rust holes in it. The firewall is a little rusty, but not really holes, it's just surface rust. But the inner fender wells, other than right there on both sides, is got rust in them. The rockers are pretty solid. It's just got a little bit of rust in it. There's underneath this trim, there's some rust bubbling out of it. Back here in the bed, there's got some rust holes in it that I'll have to address. This one over here is a little bit worse. It's got some good holes in it. But other than that, the thing is pretty solid up underneath of it and everything. But the doors, they seem to be pretty solid. The hood's perfect. So yeah, I'll put I won't put it on time lapse, but I'll put the camera down and video the body coming off the frame so he can come pick the frame up. He's going to have it sandblasted and clean it all up and paint it himself. I think. I don't think he was wanting me to paint it. But anyway. But let's pull this body off. Everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and go up with it. just like that, it is off the frame. I'm going to roll the frame out so he can come pick it up. And I'm going to work on getting, well, not right now. I was going to say I'm going to work on getting a cart made to roll this thing around. But I may weld them panels in on the lift like it is. But I'm going to jump back off of this thing and back on the Camaro and try and get it in primer. Once I get the Camaro in primer, then I have a Volkswagen I got to try and get through pretty quick and paint it, and then I'll try and get back on either the Camaro or the Bronco. We'll just see how things go on that. Pretty busy. I'm just one person by myself, so I'm trying to get as much done as I can. I just mentioned that I got a Volkswagen. It came yesterday, which I talked about it in my previous videos about going to have to do it coming up. I'll flip the camera around and show you. I don't think I've updated you on the Camaro in a little bit because I've been doing some filler work on it. Getting pretty close on it, but I'll flip the camera around and show you it, and then I'll show you the way the Volkswagen came yesterday. All right, got another coat of filler on these on this front nose piece here. It's pretty close. I put some spots in. Some filler and some spots on the hood here, and then I'm going to come back with the other filler that I use, the Rage Gold, and start just getting everything, the grind marks and everything, just nice and filled up, and just make sure that the fender, any little variations between it and the hood is even, just like I did on the door to the fender. It is really nice now. Good enough for a primer on this side, I believe, until I got to work the hood and the fender together. And I already started doing that on this side. And then I'm doing what I have completed on the driver's side, on the passenger side here, just making sure that it's nice and level, and the panels look nice and straight once I put primer and paint on. You get the damn idea. I'm trying to explain it and just messing up my words. But that's where the Camaro is at. I got some more blocking to do on this side, and the tops of the fenders and the hood, and then I'll start blocking the rest of it. Got a little bit of filler work still left to do in the back and the trunk. One of I hope he's following. I hope he's subscribed. If he's not, he needs to subscribe. But somebody commented on my last video talking about the trunk, and saying that he had done one that was this same way, and that it needed shims in between this hinge and the trunk that made this correct. So I'm going to try that first to see if it helps line up the top sides of the trunk to the quarter panels without having to hammer and dolly these. And if that's the case, then that's how they made them, is to roll on the edge like this instead of me hammering and dollying it straight. I'm going to leave it like it's supposed to if that's the case. So I'm going to try that, and I appreciate the person that commented and let me know that they've done that, because I'm not familiar with these cars, so I appreciate it. I'll walk in here in the paint booth since I don't have much room out here in the shop, and for some reason, I say some reason, I know there's damn reason, it's winter, but yesterday last time I looked out in the shop, outside from the shop, it was sun was shining, wind was blowing real hard, but looked pretty nice. And then he come to deliver this Volkswagen, and I opened the door, and heck, it's snowing. But I had him put it over here in the booth since I had some room over here, and I'll flip the camera around and show you. All right, so he took the body off of the pan. I reckon the chassis of these cars are called pans. So he took took it off of there, put it on this roll cart, which is nice. It gets it way up here to where I can do all the body work and everything without having to roll around on a stool and all that. The thing's not going to need much body work at all. Another shop had got it to this point, and it's pretty good. There's a lot of little places that needs just a little bit of working. As you can see, I'm going to start with lining up these doors better and get them before I start doing any body work. But just little places on the car, and then the major place is right here. The quarter panel, you can see, has a pretty good dip in it right there. It's not, don't follow the contour of the door, so gonna have to do a little bit of work to that. But this side, the door, I don't know if they just hung it on here to just get rid of it or what, but it needs to be raised up and lined up before any blocking and stuff needs to be done. Looks like there's probably gonna be enough room to raise it up. So the hood, I guess you would call it the hood, the front, the frunk, it's gonna need the most work. It's pretty rough, but the rear little hatch here covers the engine. I think it's in pretty good shape. Maybe just a little bit of work, but a little bit of work back here where he cut some tabs off. But yeah, other than that, shouldn't be too bad of an ordeal. But I'll get on it as soon as I can, because if I'm the way I'm thinking, that this thing's shouldn't take too much time, so I'll try and get on it and get it knocked out and out of here. Because the projects that I got in the shop right now are some pretty long projects. The Bronco is going to be the longest, but the Camaro, it's getting there. I mean, it's getting close. And the coupe car, I haven't messed with it anymore since I started spraying some filler and blocking it. I need to concentrate in the evenings on working on this some more, try and get it knocked out at the same time. So much work to do, so little time. Okay, so I've been blocking on this Camaro. It is a day after Christmas, so if you're watching this, I hope you had a great Christmas, and hope you have a happy New Year when that comes. Yeah, I've been blocking this side of the Camaro up at the top. You can see all the low places where it's darker black that's showed up, and a couple high places where sanded through to the metal. Not too awful bad. I was hoping for a little bit slicker, but you can see that right there's a pretty good dent. Not real far in, but pretty good size. There's one down there, a couple low spots, some high spots, low area right in here, but not too bad. But what I was going to show you before I got it all sanded off is up here at the top on this side. You can see a big area of bare metal right here. It started a couple small spots on this way over here when I was blocking it, and then I broke out the DA because I kept feathering it further and further out. And the reason for that is these little spots started showing up, and it's almost like contamination or something like that on top of the metal, and didn't let the primer actually adhere to it. And I didn't want it to end up like if you go back to my videos of when I did that Nova, when it first came and I started flaking the paint off, it had spots that looked sort of like this. So I wanted to make sure that this didn't happen to like that Nova did. So I'm going to keep feathering this out until these spots stop. It may end up going the whole top of the car, I don't know. But it's basically stopped around the edge here. And you know, I'm going to be putting a lot of epoxy primer on it anyway, so I'm not too worried about it going back down to the bare metal. But I definitely don't want to put anything over top of this primer if this is happening underneath of it. So I'm gonna cut this off. I figured I'd show you before I get it all off and you don't understand why I'm doing it. But other than that, another update is I got the Bronco on a cart. If you remember, this cart was under my coupe car. I was going to put the body on a metal cart, but a couple things I ran into is why I just modified this one to sit the Bronco on it. I got some metal to make one, but then I went to go get some casters for it, and casters that I wanted they didn't have, and I was out of gas for my welder, and I went to go fill it up, and they were closed the Friday before Christmas Eve. So yeah, I just ended up modifying that one and getting the Bronco put on it, which will be fine. It'll be all right. But I'm gonna get to sanding more on the Camaro and stop rambling. Okay, I feathered all of them spots I showed you out on the top. It ended up being basically just the whole center. Comes all the way over to the other side. There's a lot of dust on it right now. But I kept sanding until I didn't get any more of them little spots. So all that is feathered out. I've started working on the trunk, and I've already sanded a few spots. As you can see, it's bare metal. The corners over here, they started showing rust underneath of the black stuff. You can see it right there. And I just been sanding with a DA. If I run across a spot like that, I'll just take it all the way down to bare metal and sand that rust off. It kind of looks to me like maybe somebody handled it bare metal with their hands, and the grease from their hands contaminated the metal. I guess you would call it contaminated, but the grease or whatever from their fingers got on it. They maybe didn't wash it down good enough, or there could be a number of reasons why it was still there. And then the primer over top of it, which they probably never seen it. It was probably doing this underneath of the primer, and I just happened to sand through the primer and see it. I wouldn't imagine somebody would primer over that, but every little spot that I've sanded through metal and found that, I just make sure that I sand it all the way back down, and not to leave it like that, because all that's going to do is cause problems down the road. Go back and watch my video where I started on that Chevy Nova. Stuff like that is what caused that paint job to do what it was doing. And if you remember, if you have watched that video, if you remember, the whole side, the filler and stuff was just flaking off of it. But wanted to show you that and document it, what I was finding while I was sanding it. And I put a little bit more filler on a couple low places. Where this quarter had been put in had a gap of the wing extension, whatever you want to call it, spoiler extension that was on this side. Had a little bit of a gap right here, so just leveling that out with the trunk. I also shimmed the back side of the trunk like a viewer mentioned before, and got the trunk lining up really good. So yeah, I'm gonna keep making dust. Okay, in the shop this morning, been blocking on the Camaro. I've got all the spots on the upper end of the car all blocked out and ready for primer. Trunk lid ready to go. I'll show you this side. What I haven't done is down at the bottom of the rockers and the fenders, the quarter panel, down here at the rear bumper area. I haven't done any of that. What I'm gonna do right now, I just blew it off. You can see all the dust flying around here. I got the exhaust fans on, pulling it some out. It's helping a little bit, but not much. Doing body work in the winter with all the garage doors closed sucks. People ask me all the time, how you keep your shop clean? I don't. I mean, it's filthy, nasty. There's dust just everywhere. You can't keep it clean. I knew I was going to be blocking and making a bunch of dust multiple days, so there's no sense in taking a few hour or so sweeping up and cleaning up just to make it dirty the next day. So I'll it gets too bad, then I'll sweep it up and clean it up a little bit. If it gets a little bit warm outside, I'll blow all the walls and stuff like that off. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop the Camaro on the ground, roll it out of the shop. I'm going to move the Bronco over this area. I'm going to get the Camaro up on the lift, utilize this thing and get it up in the air so I ain't laying in the floor trying to block and everything. I'll get it up good, nice and high, and do all the lower part of it. I'd like to be finished with the first majority of the blocking and filler work maybe by the end of the day or early tomorrow, and then this weekend get it in the booth, get some primer put on it, and have the Volkswagen over here, and I'll start blocking on the Volkswagen. That way this thing's not sitting with bare metal out in the elements and stuff like that. Anything could mess a paint job up the longer you leave it bare metal. So I like to get some primer on it quick as I can. So I am going to stop talking to you, get it up over on the lift, and get the bottom rockers and fenders all knocked out.